Hi guys, Andrew here with headphones.com. Welcome to the Headphone Show. Today I'm going to talk about the recent announcement of the Apple Airpods Max. Now, this is something that's been making waves in pretty much every headphone community. It's something where, in any forum that you're on, you're going to probably see some post about this because it's kind of a big deal that Apple has now entered into the higher end headphone game, at least as far as the price is concerned. And for anybody who hasn't seen the announcement, this is going to be around $550. This is a price tag that we would typically associate with high-end audiophile headphones and not necessarily, consumer devices, like this one here. This is the Bose 700. I want to let you guys know that I will be reviewing the AirPods Max when it releases. I think it's around the 15th, so it'll be sometime after that when I get to review it. But I just wanted to touch on what my expectations are for it. The first thing to note is that most of the features that you see here, at least from the press release, this isn't stuff that hasn't been done before. What's interesting in my mind, though, is that the combination of all of these things actually is fairly unique. Specifically, the combination of the head tracking and the 3D effect and the what they call immersive audio and all of this stuff, along with noise canceling, active noise canceling, and then the DSP functionality, EQ functionality. The success of this product will depend on how well it kind of ties all this together and integrates it with the rest of the ecosystem. Now, we've got to talk about the ecosystem, and just full disclosure here, I am not somebody who is part of the Apple ecosystem. It's fine if you are, it's fine if you use Apple products, but for me, I always found that Apple products just don't work for the way that I use technology. It's just not my kind of thing. In spite of my personal reservations about Apple products in general and, the way that I use technology, I have to admit that Apple absolutely nailed it with the AirPods Pro. And this is something that demonstrates that they are capable of tuning a headphone really well. And they're capable of, for what it was and all the integration and all the features and the convenience of it all, if they can bring that over to a higher end headphone, an over-ear headphone, that's going to be a big win. But I still think it's worth being a little bit cautious about this because looking at the design, which let's take a look here at the design. They've got sort of a blown out picture of the driver structure and everything. And you can even see the size of these headphones on a person's head. It's not really all that large, which is a good thing. The big question in my mind is going to be, what is the technical performance going to be like? Because once we're in the $550 price range, it's got to start to be a little bit more important. There is, of course, the Apple tax, and people are going to buy it anyways. But the big question in my mind is, do we start to get some improved technical performance over the existing noise canceling headphones that are out there? Because other companies making noise canceling headphones, other feature rich headphones, they have already been able to master the tuning in many ways. What's going on with the Bose 700 is pretty good for the tuning. Honestly, even Apple, what they've done with their AirPods Pro is pretty good for the tuning. So I expect, at the very least, the tuning for this headphone to be good. Right? The tuning has to be something that is agreeable, not super ridiculous in the bass, not super withdrawn in the mids, not, aggressive in the treble. Reasonably well balanced, for an even, frequency response. This is something that I think we should expect at this price point. The second expectation that I have is, because this is a feature-rich headphone, I expect all of this to be really well integrated with their existing ecosystem. That should be a given. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by that. The third expectation that I have is it's got to be really convenient to use. Again, this is Apple, and these are things that they pay attention to, usually more so than other things, right? The comfort, the aesthetics, the integration, the ecosystem, all that stuff. One of my few criticisms of the PXE 552 from Sennheiser was that while it had all these features that one could ask for, the implementation of these features just wasn't quite as mature as it was on competing products from Bose and Sony. The AirPods Max has to have really good and seamless integration for its features. It also has to have excellent noise canceling functionality, and they have been able to do this really well with the AirPods Pro. But if you look at the class leading headphones for noise canceling, like the Sony WH-1000 XM4, it's got to be in that ballpark. It's got to be within that range. And this means no weird artifacts in the treble frequencies, no weird noise canceling burble that happens when you use, lower end noise canceling headphones or older ones. It has to be really, really good. And lastly, I expect at a $550 price tag, I expect the technical performance of the headphones, so detail retrieval, dynamics, soundstage, imaging, image separation, image clarity, all that stuff that makes good headphones good, I expect it to be better for technical performance than the Bose 700. Now, I'm not saying this is particularly good for technical performance, but overall, when we're talking about class-leading noise-canceling headphones, for technical performance, it has to be a little bit better than that in order for it to justify the price tag. And it could be in any different category. And again, this is the big question for me. When I look at how physically compact this design is, I do worry a little bit that this is something that they might have a challenge to achieve. Now, we don't know anything yet about the diaphragm or the coding or anything like that, or what type of dynamic driver it is. But really, those are my expectations. Now, to me, because this is an Apple product and it's a very consumer-focused product, this is something that is meant for mass appeal. The story surrounding the AirPods Max would be far more interesting if it were actually better than these expectations, if it actually did compete with something like the Fostex TR-X00 or Focal Elegia or some of these other headphones that are within that price range. If it's better for technical performance than any other noise canceling headphone, then that's going to be remarkable. So my overall take on the announcement of the AirPods Max is that I'm not exactly optimistic, but I'm intrigued. And I think there's a real opportunity for this to be something great, and I really do hope it is, because as far as the noise canceling stuff is concerned, moving forward, I've always wanted to see sort of like the next step up from that, where we're no longer just talking about the features. If they're able to successfully enter into this high-end headphone world, where we have other competing products around that price that are really good, if they're able to compete as far as the performance is concerned, then that's going to be really, really exciting. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, what your expectations are. Do you think that it's going to compete with the higher end audiophile stuff that we're used to? Do you think it's going to come close, or is this just something that we can write off as yet another consumer focused product that really doesn't have any interest for the higher end audience who really cares about sound quality? Anyway, stay tuned for that review. It's most likely going to be out sometime next week, and I'll have all the measurements and frequency response and all that stuff up on the Headphone Community Forum, so definitely check that stuff out. But in any case, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.